Good morning, students. I welcome you all to today's English class. The topic of this lesson is the flight of Icarus, and the book which we are going to use for this academic year is my English folder. Can I begin the lesson now? So, before I go into this lesson, let's begin the class with a short starter activity. When you look at this picture, what comes to your mind? Can anyone guess about it? Yes, it's going to be a brain teaser. When you look at those pictures and the words inside the box, it gives you a clarity that you're supposed to find the word what is supposed to be. And the first the first word, can you all guess what is that? You can find the word personality, and it has been splitted into two. Can you see that? Yes. Can you guess what word it would be? As the word personality has been splitted, the word is split personality. Is it quite interesting, children? Yes. Let's go for the second word. Stood, miss. Below the word stood, you have the word miss. Can you understand what word is that? Can you guess? It's misunderstood. And what would be the third word? What picture is given there? Absolutely. It's nothing but a rainbow and something you can see above rainbow. What word is that? It's somewhere. So can you relate rainbow and the word somewhere? Somewhere over the rainbow is the exact sentence. The next word is the word history. The word history has been repeated thrice. History repeats itself is the correct word. The same way, I want you to go through the other remaining words. Write the brain teasers. Below that, write the first word and write what word you would have guessed. The same way, just continue with the other words too. Is it clear, children? Hope this activity is quite interesting. Once you find the answer, just write those answers in an A4 sheet and record it along with the date. Once you are done with this activity, let's go for a check. Can I give you 1 minute time to complete this activity? It will not take much of your time. Can I give you 1 minute to complete this? Yes, and your time starts now. Hope it's not going to be very difficult task, as I know all my children are very good in vocabulary. The pictures here will help you, and you have got very easy clues too. It makes you think twice. Before you write the word, just look into the picture, think twice before you write. It kindles your interest towards vocabulary. Yes. Shall we check our answers now? And your answers are in the next slide. Let me show you that. In case if your answer is correct, just give a pat on your back. If not, no problem. Let us go for the next slide. Every day, whenever you get brain teasers or puzzles like this, it really improves your vocabulary and makes you think beyond the box. Clear? Yeah. And your answers are here, the next slide. Here we go with. As I gave you the answers for the first four, the fifth one is 1 in a million. And the next, I'll be there in a minute. The words have been jumbled up. The next, chair, high chair. The word chair is given on the top, so it's high chair. Invaders. There is a space in between the word in and invaders, so it's space invaders. You can see an arrow mark. which is pointed towards down, it's slow down. And the last one, the second box, is stand. You can see something in the corner, stand in the corner. The next is double vision. The word vision has been given twice. It's a double vision. The next, walking on thin ice. The word ice has been given in very thin letters. The next, eye of the storm. Can you see something on the wall? Yeah. Spot. The word spot. You can see X marks on the spot. And the next, once, and you can see your clock, and where you have got the word once over the picture. So once upon a time, where the clock indicates a time. The word promise has been given broken there. It's not a complete word actually. So it's a broken promise. And the word violets, there's been shrinking as it goes from big to small. The word shrinking violets. The word pineapple cake is been given upside down, which indicates upside down pineapple cake. The same way the word door has been given as a mirror image, back door. Got a word in edgewise, where you have got a word in a corner, the edge of the box. The next, the word country has been given cross, which indicates cross country. The next one is apple pie, which indicates you the picture. Apple and the pi, the value of pi is 3.14159, which you will learn the days to come in your math. The next one, 6 feet underground. You can see feet is given 6 times, and you can see the word ground, where you're supposed to mix and match with that. And the word baked has been given halfway. It is not printed fully actually, so it is half baked. The last one is business, which is not a complete business, which has not been complete. Even the word has not been completed, it shows unfinished business. And how was your starter activity? You can also give your feedback based on this. So we'll just see that how far you are able to complete this activity as the days pass by, and the time taken to complete this activity too. Shall we move on to the next slide, children? Yes. As the lesson deals with myth, the flight of Icarus. And this is a mythical story actually, which talks about mythical creatures. You all know what is mythical creature? Yes. A mythical creature is nothing but, have you ever heard about it before that? A legendary, mythical and mythological creature, also called as a fabulous creature and fabulous beast, is a supernatural animal, generally a hybrid, sometimes part human, whose existence has not or cannot be proved, and that is described in folklore but also in historical accounts before history became a science. I'll show you a picture of mythological creatures too. And here we go with myth, the word myth, which tells you a brief about the story, a traditional story, especially one concerning the early history of a people or explaining a natural or social phenomenon, and typically involving supernatural beings or events. So this word takes you very deeper into the story. Let me begin the story with now. And here's a slide of mythical creatures, where in science you'd have learned about animals mix and match. This is how it is called as mythical creatures here, and which has got a body of a horse and a face of a human being. In the same way, wings of a bat and the body of a dragon, and all these are called as mythical creatures. You can also look for more mythical creatures, try to collect pictures and information about them. It's going to be quite interesting. And the lesson begins here. it's the flight of Icarus. You can look at the picture here where a boy has wings. It is called as we said earlier, it is nothing but a mythical creature where it has got a face of a boy, the body of a boy, and the boy has got wings to it. Before we go into the story, let me give you a summary about it. This is a famous Greek legend which tells of Daedalus, a craftsman and a sculptor who had to build a huge labyrinth or maze for King Minos of Crete. The king wanted the maze to imprison a huge creature, half man, half beast, which you can look into this picture as the Minotaur. When the work was finished, the king did not keep his promise to let Daedalus and his son Icarus go free. Daedalus made wings so they could escape, but his son did not heed his warnings and fell off to his death. This is what the story all about. Actually, there was a man called Daedalus who was a craftsman and was a very famous sculptor of those days. And the king did not want to leave him free, who imprisoned him. But as this person, the Daedalus, as he want to think something out of the box, as he want to create something new, he wanted to get himself free to go back to his own country with his son Icarus. As the king did not allow him, they both, Daedalus, the father, and the son Icarus, wanted to make a great escape. So they both tried to make a wings. Daedalus, the father, made wings for him as well as a pair of wings for his son to make a great escape. As they could escape, the son of Daedalus did not follow his instructions, which made him fell to his death. This is all about the story. When you listen to the summary of the story, you would have got what would the story be all about. So let me ask you a couple of questions here. Just listen. As you have listened to the summary of the story, can you give me your answers now? Just record your answers on A4 sheet. Before you start recording, just write the topic as oral discussions. Below that, you can just write number 1, listen to the question, what I read or what I say, and just write the answer. Keep recording your answers on A4 sheet. Can I ask you the first question? Have you ever wanted to fly? Even I too wished for. The second question, if you were Icarus, would you have been frightened? Imagine yourself as Icarus. He flew along with his father. The third question, what is your opinion Icarus disobeying his father? Do you think is that good? Fine. Just record your answers on A4 sheet. Yes. So let me explain this lesson. Let me read this passage. Please keep listening very carefully. As you listen to this, first let me explain the passage. Later, when I read for the second time, just make a note of words, and those unfamiliar words below the questions, whatever you have answered. Just make a list of unfamiliar words. The same A4 sheet which you are maintaining now. Can I start? Yes. Daedalus was a great inventor. Unfortunately, he angered King Minos, the ruler of the island of Crete. In order to flee the island, Daedalus used wax to build some wings for himself and his son Icarus. Let us read what happened next. As I told you in the summary, the both father and his son wanted to make a great escape. So father Daedalus made a pair of wings for him as well as his son. Let's see what happens next. An ancient Greek myth or legend tells the story of Daedalus, a great engineer and inventor. Daedalus and Icarus, his son, were being kept captive by the king of Crete on his island. Captive is nothing but they could not be able to escape, unable to escape. The king gave Daedalus a well-equipped workshop in a high tower. But even this was not enough to keep the inventor content to remain in Crete. He just wanted his freedom to leave the island and return to his own country. Realizing this, the king ordered that all the ships should be searched before leaving port to check that Daedalus and Icarus were not aboard. But the two were determined to leave, and if they could not escape by the sea, they would find another way. So the king this passage tells you that the king Daedalus was given a well-equipped workshop. It was really built well. It was built in a very high big tower. Though he was given a place to live, but he was not contented with the place which he is living there. So he wanted to make a great escape from there. So knowing this, the king ordered all his people that Daedalus and Icarus are not supposed to leave the place. So he ordered his people to check the ports that both of them, both father and the son, are not supposed to aboard it. But father and the son, they both determined to leave the country. Daedalus watched the birds, and suddenly an idea came to him. As he was sitting and watching around it, he saw the birds flying. Suddenly an idea struck. That was it. He would build Icarus and himself a set of wings each. So once after seeing the birds flying, an idea struck in his mind, and immediately he wanted to build a pair of wings. He believed that he can fly with a pair of wings like how birds do. He sent Icarus off to collect all the feathers he could find, and soon the workshop was full of thousands of them. Next, Daedalus made a wooden frame shaped like the wing of a bird. He poured melted wax onto the frame, and into the wax he presented the feathers. So as he started planning that he is supposed to fly like how the birds flew, he ordered his son to bring feathers all around, whatever is available around him. So he ordered his son to bring the feathers. By then Daedalus made a wooden frame which shaped like a wing of a bird. So he poured melted wax on it, and as Icarus bought few feathers, the feathers was all around. Whatever feathers was found all around his place, he collected those feathers, and he applied wax over it, and over the melted wax he stuck all the feathers of birds. Can you look at the picture? Can you see Daedalus sitting there, and he was holding a pair of wings which has feathers stuck to it. The feathers was stuck using melted wax. Then he let the wax cool and become solid again. To his delight, when he attached the wings to his shoulders, he could feel the wind trying to lift him into the air. Immediately, he set to work to make the second pair for Icarus. Daedalus was sure that he and his son could jump from the tower and fly across the water. So he just wanted to cool the wax and until it becomes solid, that is firm. So he was waiting for it. So once it is done, he attached the wings of his shoulders and tried flying in the air. He thought that it would be a great success, so he wanted to make for the next pair too, second pair of Icarus. As one pair is going to be successful, wanted to make one more pair for his son. When they were ready to leave, Daedalus gave the boys some advice. Before they start the journey, Daedalus gave an advice to his son, like how our parents do, right? Before we start something, our parents give us a valuable suggestions, do like this, do like that, better go for like this ideas. They give us various ideas before we go into that. Same way, Daedalus gave an advice to his son. If you fly too low, the spray from the waves will make your wings wet and heavy, But if you fly too high, the heat from the sun will melt the wax that holds the feathers together. So he thought that stay near me or you'll be safe. So he told very clearly, if you are going to fly too high, the heat of the sun will definitely melt your wax, and you cannot hold your feathers for a long time. The same way, if you go very low, if you fly too low, the spray from the waves will make your wings wet, and you will not be able to fly. So yeah, he's given you very clear advice that you're not supposed to fly too high, at the same time too low, which really affects your flight of journey. The best thing is stay near me and you will be safe. You are going to in case if you're going to stay near me, unless you stay near me, you're not going to be safe. So please stay near me so that you will be safe. So we both will have a safe flight of journey. Do you think Icarus would have listened to his father? Absolutely no, he did not listen to his father's advice. With a feeling of great excitement, they climbed onto the window ledge. Daedalus smiled at his son, then jumped. At first, the wings did not seem to be lifting him. Desperately, he flapped his wings and then, slowly at first, he was carried up into the sky. He glanced over his shoulder to see Icarus close behind. So the great feeling of excitement, once we all know something, wanted to do something new, we will be really great excited. The same way Icarus was very much excited as he is going to fly. At the same time, he was not very cautious. He did not listen to his father's advice too. What a thrill young Icarus felt to be flying like a bird. With a sheer delight, Icarus soared higher and higher up towards the clouds. Daedalus suddenly realized that his son was too excited to remember his father's warning. Up, up soared the boy through the clouds and then above them. So these lines in this passage tells us very clearly that Icarus did not listen to his father's advice. He was very much excited. He soared higher and higher up towards the clouds. The previous passage, the father gave the very clear advice not to go too near the sun, at the same time not to fly too low. Because when he flies too high, the heat from the sun melts the wax. At the same time, when he flies too low, the spray from the waves will make his wings wet. Both will not help him to have a safe flight. Icarus, as his father advised, he did not listen to them. At the same time, Daedalus noticed that his son is really excited and he wanted to stop him. Icarus, my son, come back. The sun will melt the wax, pleaded Daedalus. But Icarus was not too far away to hear the cries of his father. Suddenly, Icarus remembered. It was too late. He could see the feathers beginning to come away from the wooden frame. First a few, then more and more, he began to lose height. And this passage tells us very clearly that what was the situation of Icarus as he flew too higher and higher. As he was excited, he flew higher and higher, and the impact of that led to his death. He could not control his flight, he could not control himself. As he flew higher and higher, the feathers started dropping one by one. First few feathers dropped down, and later as he flew higher and higher, many of the feathers fell down. He began to lose height, he could not control himself. Father was pleading Icarus to come down, but he could not. Faster and faster he fell towards the sea, with the feathers scattering round him as he crashed down past in his desperate, helpless father. Daedalus pulled the boy's still body from the sea and flew back to the land where, weeping bitterly, he buried him. Sometime later, Daedalus built a temple to Apollo, the god of sunlight. In it, he hung his wings as an offering to the god. Never again would Daedalus fly. So, as he was not able to control himself, Icarus, faster and faster, he fell towards the sea. And all his feathers, the wings which he was holding, the feathers started scattering. Ever he crashed himself into the sea. His father was helpless. He could not control himself. He was very emotional and started weeping bitterly, crying very bitterly. And he buried his son. Before burying, he pulled the son's body, still body from the sea, and he buried his son. After some times, Daedalus built a temple to his son, to Apollo, the god of sunlight. In it, he hung his wings as an offering to God, the god of sunlight, the Apollo. Never again he decided to fly. So this lesson clearly gives us a value base that we're supposed to listen to our father, not only father or elders' advice. When they say something, we must, though we don't take things seriously, it matters a lot. We're supposed to take things seriously, whatever the parents says, whatever elders says at home as well at school or whoever says it. Clear? Few questions based on the text. It's a follow-up questions. So just write number 1 and record only your answers. Okay, fine. First question. Are you all ready? So once if you have listened to this text very well, you'll be able to answer spontaneously. The first question, why did the king order all ships to be searched? Why did the king order all ships to be searched? First write all the questions so that you can record your answers later. You can take your own time. And second question, what did Daedalus advise Icarus to do? Let me repeat the question. What did Daedalus advise Icarus to do? And third question, what made Icarus lose height? What made Icarus lose height? Fine. And let's go for the next activity based on the lesson. It's going to be a comprehension skills. So exercise A requires a literal understanding of the passage so that the events can be arranged according to the correct sequence. It has been jumbled up, so sequence them in the right order. Is it clear, children? Yes. Let's go to exercise B. Answer the following questions. It's all based upon the textbook. So once you have listened the text clearly, you'll be able to write the answers here. You need not write the questions for exercise B. Just write the correct question number and record the answers. Is it clear, children? Can I move on to the next slide now? Before I move on to the next slide, I'll read the questions of exercise B. First question, why did Daedalus want to escape from Crete? Number 2, how did he get the idea for his escape plan? Third question is ERC, explain reference to context. You have got a phrase, you have got a sentence or a statement. Based on that, you have asked 2 questions. You're supposed to write the answers for that. Stay near me and you will be safe. That's the statement given there. You know who said this? First question, who said this to whom? Who said this phrase to whom? And second question, why did he say this? This statement has got a question for both the answers. Sorry, for both the questions. This statement has gotten answers for these both the questions. Am I clear? Yes. Fourth question. Icarus, my son, come back. The sun will melt your wax. And this is the phrase given here. And has got two questions based on this. First question. Did Icarus listen to his father's warning? And number 2, what happened next in this story? Is it clear? Number 5, which words does the writer use to describe how Daedalus felt as he watched Icarus falling to his death? You're supposed to write the words which the writer used to describe how Daedalus felt as he watched his son falling to his death. Is it clear? Can I move on to the next slide now? Yes. It's writing skills. And first is the conversation. Can you all see this? Yeah. Here is a part of conversation that might have taken place between Icarus and his father. Icarus, I need you to find me some feathers, said Daedalus. What do you need feathers? Asked the boy. You ask too many questions, his father replied. Just do as I ask. But where do I start to look? Inquired Icarus. I can't go simply asking the birds to lend me their feathers, can I? He added irritably. So this is the passage given here. We're supposed to add inverted commas or sometimes called speech marks. Notice that a new line is started each time a different person starts to speak. So the easiest way for you to remember is a new person speaking. You'll start with a new line. Next line actually. So when a particular child speaks, you'll start with the first line. And when the next child speaks, you'll start in the next line. You will not have a continuous lines here. Is it clear? So you're supposed to copy the passage, add punctuation, inverted commas and line breaks in this passage. Can you all do that? You would have learned punctuation in grade 3 as well 4. So you're supposed to add punctuation and inverted commas and line breaks for this passage. Rewrite the passage in an A4 sheet. Is it clear? Yes, the same way. We have got a passage here. Copy this next part of conversation, adding the inverted commas and the other missing punctuation marks and starting a new line each time a different person starts to speak. You have got a passage and you have got an example how to do based on this. As I have explained you earlier, this given here. When a person speaks, you will start in the first line. Then when the next person speaks, you will start only in the next line. You will not have a continuous speech here. And you will have a proper punctuation marks. Is it clear? Record your answers in an A4 sheet, children. As you have listened to the story, I want you to do a follow-up activity based on this. It's a conclusion part. Let me ask you, post you 3 questions. Based on that, you'll give me your answers or record your answers. Why you like it? The story, The Flight of Icarus. Why do you like it? The second one, what you have learned from it. What you have learned from it. And third one, suggest an alternate ending. You can suggest an alternate ending for this story. Your answers may vary. I want you to write the answers for these three conclusion parts of this particular story, The Flight of Icarus. You can record your answers in the same A4 sheet. Is it clear? And soon after writing these three conclusion part answers, you can look into the video where I have sent a link, a YouTube video, The Boy Who Flew Too High. Just watch the video and you can answer the set of follow-up questions based on that. Hope it's going to be quite interesting. Thank you, children. Hope you had an exciting and interesting class today. Let me see you in next class. Bye bye. Take care. Stay safe. Stay at home. Bye.